Hi guys! In this video, I'm going to show you the integration process for Django All Auth. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to start a project from scratch and then do the integration from there. Before you start, make sure that you have Python, virtual environment, and pip installed on your computer. If you don't, go ahead and do that and then come back. If you're not sure how to do that, you can Google or YouTube it. There's a bunch of tutorials out there, but if you really can't find anything, let me know and I'll try my best to help you out. Otherwise, let's get started. So let's open the terminal, type out command space, type out terminal, and then hit enter. So now that we're in the terminal, I'm going to cd into my desktop, cd desktop, and then hit enter. I'm doing that because I want to save my files into my desktop. If you want to save it somewhere else, you can do that too. Just make sure you know where you saved it, okay? Alright. So now I'm in the desktop. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to type out make dir, and then the name I want it to be. So I'm just going to call this Django _ example, and then enter. So there it is, the folder that I just made. If I open it, it's empty because I haven't done anything yet. I just created the folder and saved it into my desktop. Now that that's there, I'm going to cd into that folder, so cd Django _ example, and then hit enter. So now I'm in the folder. I'm in this folder. I type out ls, there's nothing there. ls is just another way of looking at the files inside of the folder, so it's empty. Okay, now we can add the virtual environment into the folder. We do that by typing out virtual env space period and then hit enter. Oh, okay, so I spelled it wrong. Make sure you spell it correctly. Virtual env space period and then hit enter. There you go. Now that it's installing, it's completed. Now if I type out ls again, I see the new files in the folder. These are just the files that come with the virtual environment. Like even if I open the folder, it's there. So that's good. Now that we have virtual environment in the folder, we need to activate it. So we do that by typing out source space bin/activate and then hit enter. Okay, so now it's activated. I have this within the parentheses. That means that your virtual env is activated and everything's good to go. Now that it's activated, we can now install Django in the virtual environment. We do that by typing out we do that by typing out pip install Django /all auth. So this should install Django and the Django All Auth package. This should install the Django, the latest version. If you want to install an earlier version, you can do pip install Django and then the version number. But I'm using the latest version, so which is 1.10 right here, 1.10. So if I do pip freeze, now we can see all the files that were installed into the virtual environment. So I have Django, Django All Auth, and everything else that came with the Django and Django All Auth package. Okay, so now Django is installed. We can start a project. We type out Django-admin.py space start project, one word, and then space, and then the name you want to name your project. I'm going to call this one All Auth _ example. You can name it whatever you want. So now if I list out the files again, I see that All Auth is right there. This is the Django project. if I cd into that, cd all auth underscore example, and then enter, and then type out ls again, we see that there are two files. This is the Django folder, and then this is manage.py. So if you're in this folder, you're on the right track. Okay? Now we're going to try to run the server to make sure that everything's working fine. We do that by typing out Python manage.py run server. You might get like an error that says you need to migrate some stuff. We'll talk about that later, but for now I just want to make sure that the server is running, so I'm just going to copy this, Command-C, open up Chrome, and then paste it there. So there you go, it worked. Congratulations on your first Django-powered project. If I put /admin, and I try to sign in, it's gonna raise an error because I haven't done the migrations yet, so that's okay. So if you get here, that means you did everything correctly. If not, go back and make sure that you followed all the steps and like you installed everything correctly. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the terminal. I'm going to exit out of the server by doing Control-C. Just hit Control and then C, and then you should be out of the server. And then now I'm going to do the migration. So Python manage.py migrate, and then hit enter. And then everything worked. Looks like it migrated correctly. So I'm going to create a super user now by typing out Python manage.py create super user, one word, hit enter. It's going to ask you for a username. I'm just going to leave this blank to use Nikki. Email address, I'm going to leave blank for now. And then password. So type out a password. And then do it again. And then there it is. The super user is created successfully. So now let's run the server again. Python manage.py run server. Enter. Then I'm just going to go back to Google Chrome, refresh this, then try to sign in. Hit enter, and there you go. So all the migrations worked correctly, and if you get here, then that's a good sign. Okay? So now I'm just going to log out and go back to my terminal and then exit out of the server. Again, do that by typing out Control-C. And now we're going to install the Django, we're going to start the Django All Auth stuff. So let's go back to the browser, and then I'm going to just open up a new tab. Then I'm going to Google Django All Auth. I'm going to go to this website, readthedocs.org/projects/Django-All-Auth. Okay? And then I'm just going to use a stable version. So now that we're here, I'm going to go into installation, and then we're just going to follow these steps. So the first one is pip install Django All Auth. We did that. Now we need to go to the settings.py. If you're using Django 1.7 and below, make sure that you have django.core.context_processors.request under template_context_processors. If you're Django 1.8 and above, which I am, I'm Django 1.10, I'm using that, make sure that it's under the templates, so it should be right here. I'm just going to copy this, Command-C, and then open up my file, the Django example. I'm going to go into all auth_example, and then here I'm going to go into the all auth_ folder again, where the manage.py file is. So now I'm going to go into the settings.py, just make sure it's the settings.py file, not the pyc. Then I'm going to open it with Sublime Text. You can use whichever editor you want. I'm using Sublime Text, but you can use whatever you prefer. Okay? So underneath templates, I'm going to see if I have the django.template.contextprocessors.request, and I do have it. It's right there. When you install Django, it should come with it, but make sure to just double check, and that if it's not there, just add it, just in case, because if you don't add it, it's going to be raise problems later, so just make sure that that's there. So it's there. Now let's go to the next step. We need to add authentication_backends into the settings.py file. So I'm just going to copy this, the whole thing, all the way to the last parentheses right above installed apps. I'm going to Command C, paste it underneath my template. So Command V. I'm just going to erase these dots because it might raise an error later. And then Command S to save it. Now underneath installed apps, we need to add django.contrib.sites into installed_apps. So let's just copy that. Again, Command C, go into installed apps, and then right underneath the last one, I'm just going to paste it. Make sure that you guys have the comma there. Okay? And then we need to add all auth and all auth.account into the installed apps as well. You can see there's all these other things too for social account. If you want to add like Facebook login and Twitter login and stuff like that, you can do that too. I'm not going to do that right now just for the sake of this video. I'm just going to do all auth and all auth.account. So I'm just going to add those two underneath django.contrib.sites. So now it's there. I'm going to save it, Command S. And then let's go back to the documentation. And that should be it for the settings.py. Okay, so make sure you save the changes. And I'm going to exit out of the settings.py now. And the next step is open up urls.py and then add this into your URLs. So I'm going to copy this, Command C, go to my urls.py file, make sure it's the py, not pyc, open it with your text editor, and then underneath the first one, I'm going to paste it, Command V, make sure you put URL in front of it. So make sure that the URL is right there. Now we're using include, so if you read up here, we need to import the include if we're going to use it. So import include function in the django.conf.urls. So here it's django.conf.urls, import URL, and then now we're going to import include as well. I'm going to save that, Command S, and then that should be it for the URLs. I'm going to exit out of that. Alright, so let's go back into our terminal right here. Make sure you're on the right folder. If you type out ls, it should be where the manage.py file is. And then now let's try to run the server again. Python manage.py run server. Enter. Alright, so now it says that we have 4 unapplied migrations. Now we need to do the migrations first because we made some changes in the settings file, so make sure you migrate it. So I'm going to exit out of the server first. So I'm going to exit, Control C, and then migrate the files, the changes we did. So Python manage.py migrate, and then hit enter. So there it is. The migrations are done. Now let's run the server again. Python manage.py run server, enter, and let's go back into the localhost. Now the home page is not working, but if we go into accounts, so /accounts, and then another slash, hit enter. Now you can see that all of these URLs have been added. So there's sign up, login, logout, etc., and all those things. Okay, So if we go into sign up, accounts/sign up, now we see that we can sign up users here, right? We didn't even do anything, we just installed Django All Auth. So if we go back to accounts, you can see that you can log in users, log out users, password change, set a password, email, confirm, and you can even reset it if you forget. So that's what Django All Auth is. If you're adding this into an existing project, you can do that. Just read the docs, the Django documentations, and then go to configurations, and then this shows you how to configure your project with Django All Auth, like verify, confirm, reset, and you can even change the templates. If you know how to do that, you can change the templates to whatever you want. But as you can see, that the Django All Auth is very powerful and it's so easy to install, and it really saves up so much time because then you don't need to make an accounts app from scratch. You could just install Django All Auth and it comes with all of this stuff, and then it'll just save you so much time. Alright, so that's it for now. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll try my best to get back at you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you.